Welcome back, you guys. I'm the EFC. This is Blue Lines TV, and in today's video, we're here to break down, deep dive, and discuss the implications behind a Werner and potential Havertz signing. What could this mean for other players' spots in the team? Who should be the first team player? Who could be the new backup players? We're here to break that down, debate, and discuss everything. And to do that, I've got on a very special guest in Matis Armani. So, of course, to just do the guy justice, here's his Twitter account, you guys. Honestly, one of the best Chelsea accounts to follow by a distance. You guys can see it on the screen. Get to add in. Yeah, from the heart. You know how it goes, man. Obviously, introduce yourself. How you doing, man?
It's good to be here, man. Back again. It's just great to talk with you again. You know, we've got loads to discuss. Two potentially one and another new player. And then of course you've got, you know, how they fit into the team tactically, who can miss out. So it's good to be covering all of that with you again.
Yeah, thank you, man. It's great to have you back. And just getting straight into things now. Okay, Havertz Werner. Do you feel like these are the best players that are worth the amount of money and investment that they're going to cost? Or do you think maybe that we could have done things a bit differently? You know, we've had players available in the market like your Jeremy Bogers and other cheaper alternatives that could also improve the team. But do you think this direction by the club right now is the best one to go through?
Yeah, I mean, I must say both players fit into the mold of what Chelsea are looking at. You know, young players with resale value, players that, you know, are going to bring goals to the team, which is what we struggled with this year, converting chances. You know, we created loads. And to be honest, we created some really good opportunities sometimes, especially using Reece James as our outlet, but we just didn't take them. We didn't have enough clinical players in the box and taking shots outside the box as well. So I think these two, you know, Werner to start off with, he's got a great release clause. So value for money, I think you're hitting the nail on the head there. In terms of what you're going to get maybe from the wide position, coming in and giving Tammy that support, someone that can run beyond, someone that can take a second defender's attention away from Tammy, give him a bit more space to maneuver. So value for money, I'm definitely happy with Werner. The player himself, I'm still waiting to see how he's going to fit into the team, because he's not really a true winger and he's not really a true striker who can go up top and hold the ball on his own and win aerial duels. He's going to have to play in that inside left position, a bit higher up the pitch. Of course, he needs to run in behind, so we need to be able to put through balls in as well. So how he plays against low blocks, I'm really interested to see. Havertz, I've got no doubts about this kid. For me, he is perfect for what we need. Really looking forward to hopefully him join. I'm praying, because one thing with him, and we spoke about this off stream, bring it up again, Michael Ballack, he's got that header, even a Muller. You know, even a Muller at Bayern Munich, someone who can play behind Tammy or even play up front if need be, win headers. He's gonna take advantage of Reece James's crossing, and because he's played deeper and wide, he's got the link-up playability. He's got all of that experience, and he's only 20. I think he's played 4 positions at 20.
He's played over 100 games too. Absolutely mad. Like the guys, I think it's safe to say that he is like a generational type of talent, because again, there's not many players that come around every 10 years that are like putting up the numbers and playing the game he is. So I agree with that. Like obviously my stance on Havertz has changed, of course, at the start, because I still had hopes that we'd go for a Jadon Sancho, because I just, you know, maybe it's the fan in me. I wanted to see Hudson-Odoi and Sancho just in the wings together, just doing it for club and country, you know what I mean? However, it seems like the price tag, which I was hearing about for a while, was always going to be the big stumbling block. And it's obvious that, you know, if Kai is going to be less, like 40 million less than a Sancho, you know, it comes down to the player cost per year. Sancho would cost like nearly 30 million a year on wages and the transfer fee, etc., which is a lot of money. If you're spending that money, you need to be a big club that's already winning things, if you're asking me. And I think with Kai, it does fit a role in the team. But I need to ask you, Kai, Werner, naturally, they are going to take up positions in the team. We'll start with Werner first. When it comes to Werner, I feel like, naturally, because of the position he plays, that is preventing Hudson-Odoi, that's preventing Christian Pulisic from really playing on the left-hand side, because Werner really is way better compared to anywhere else playing in that left channel, in that left position. So how do you feel players like Hudson and Pulisic are going to cope?
It's going to be really tough for them. Really, I can't lie. I can't even sugarcoat it. It's going to be difficult, because now what you've got is a situation where Ziyech is on that right-hand side. And we know he's going to drift, but he will probably start out initially at right wing. And he's kind of needed for the creativity, the vision, the passing, the long shots that we really don't take enough. You know, I'm screaming out for us to take more shots on goal from Barkley and Mount. and he's gonna play for me because he's something that we're missing. So he's got something that really the rest of them don't really have in terms of his passing ability. So then on the left, like you said, you're putting three against one position, and really Werner's gonna win because if you're trying to think who's gonna complement Ziyech the most in terms of that switch from right to left at the back post to get those goals, like we saw against us in the Champions League, where Ziyech put the ball back post and Quincy Promes just comes in. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
that's Werner. I mean. That is really Werner's job.
Yeah, you're right. And I just think obviously, Christian prefers maybe like carry the ball inside the box, and Hudson doesn't have that physical presence just yet because injuries have really affected his momentum playing at this level now. I think what's going to be interesting, and I think what we're alluding to, is that if you have potentially Havertz, Werner already here, Ziyech, you're assuming that they would be the players to start in the first 11, which would then imply what happens to Pulisic and Hudson-Odoi. Who becomes the guy that becomes the go-to first up to make, and who becomes the backup player that's used against weaker teams when you want to rest your big players?
Yeah, I mean, for me as well, Pulisic, I think he has the potential to play in the 10, but I think Frank does prefer Mount for the obvious reasons. He can obviously fit back into a 3 midfield a lot better. He's got a lot more energy about him in the press, and he's had him since Derby, so he's already worked on him in being that perfect 8 that we saw against Everton. So, Pulisic, it's unlikely he's really going to play Cam. Hudson-Odoi, I think he can go on the right wing if Ziyech needs a rest as well. Ziyech's out of form. Hudson-Odoi at right wing is so underrated, man. I think it's not as complicated for him. He knows what he needs to do is get that cross in. And even if he does cut in on his left foot, there's numerous times he'll cut in and he'll take a shot. He's not scared to cut in on his left foot.
That's what I mean. I've known Hudson to be a guy that scores goals. The thing is that when you play at this level, I think there's a big thing that's never really spoken about is the pressure you feel playing in front of a big packed stadium. That's the reality that, wow, what you're playing now is like, this is proper important. This is big stuff. Like that mental pressure where you start to doubt your confidence. You have those moments of doubt, your confidence can be down. They're all the things that can affect what you do in front of goal. Hudson is a great finisher. Both feet I've seen. It will come to him when he gets more consistent game time. But obviously, getting back to the debate between Christian and Hudson, who do you think, I'm not going to ask for your opinion, I'm just going to ask, who do you think could be the guy to be the first sub for any of those first team guys, and who would be the guy used for, like smaller games?
I think if I'm taking it at this moment in time, I'd probably say Pulisic would be first sub because he's got a bit more experience under his belt in terms of top level football. And I think in terms of end product as well, it's very close between them because I think people again undervalue what Hudson-Odoi, the key passes he'll make in the final third in the box. I don't think there's a better young player out there when it comes to making that decision in the box. He's up there with them. I think just Pulisic being able to cover 10 might give him more, but it really is very close between them. And it's also dependent on if they stay fit because both of them have had their injury issues.
A lot of injuries,
more so, Pulisic over a longer span of time has had injury issues.
You're right.
Whereas Hudson-Odoi's had one. So
that really interests me about and that really interests me about Pulisic when I saw his injury record since Dortmund days. Like for the past 3 years, it's been non-stop muscle injuries, muscle fatigue, this muscle cause related, whatever. So I guess in that sense, maybe this is why Lampard even wants to really bring in a big attacking player for moments where you're thinking, okay, I'm assuming I'm going to get one big injury in this area. So that is interesting. But obviously, you mentioned Pulisic playing as a number 10. I mean, if that was the case, what does that mean for guys like a Mason Mount, for example, who you would think would be like maybe the backup to Kai playing in that shadow striker role? Yeah.
I mean, in terms of Mason Mount, this season, when he moved into that 8 position, which is in the 3, which is now just pushing me to want to see 4-3-3 even more because that really does suit Loftus-Cheek the best, suits Mount now for me the best. Against Everton, Mount was sensational. He really was the complete midfielder, looked a lot closer to what I had envisioned him when I seen him at Vitesse and at Derby, playing in that 8 role, just on the left, really good link up and really underrated. In terms of fending off the defenders, getting round players, harrying them, but also being able to get past players as well with the ball. He was really good. Him and Barkley playing in those as the advanced 8s in that half space, with Gilmour just pushing the ball into them through the lines. was really effective. I want to see that a lot more.
Yeah, I think so too. I think we'll probably see Mason more in midfield. It will be interesting to know if we'll see maybe like him playing alongside, let's say, like a Loftus-Cheek in midfield, because I think Mason has that defensive work rate and defensive intelligence that I think Lampard would consider using him deeper. But just getting back to okay, so to end with your answer, you probably have Pulisic edging things now. I would probably say Hudson-Odoi for now, and that's purely based on the fact that I think whoever out of those two would get game time, they would end up getting more minutes on the right hand side for now, because I can't imagine maybe Werner being moved somewhere else to play like Pulisic or Hudson down the left. I think they'll have to play down the right hand side. So I think when it comes to the right, I just think Hudson looks better on the right. Yeah. And maybe Pulisic has looked more dangerous, obviously, down the left. So, of course, we've got options, which is just the amazing thing.
Yeah, now, definitely not a problem.
yeah, that's what I mean. It's a good problem to have. It's a good position to be in. But now moving on to Kai Havertz, he is another interesting player because, again, he is like Mr. Versatility, like synonymous with versatility. Where can't he play? Defense. Okay, we get out of the way. But with Kai, I think that there could be a unique way that Lampard would use him. We've all been seeing the games in the Bundesliga with the return. We needed that football fix, of course. But I was really impressed with how Havertz plays up front. And most particularly, I was impressed with how he plays false nine. And it's got me thinking, if Havertz comes, we ain't going to be signing another striker. We can't. But probably might keep Giroud. He wants to stay here and risk losing his place in the France team. That's up to him. But I can imagine there'll be times where we'll just be like, we'll see a madness. We'll see Kai Havertz playing false nine in that Firmino role in a sense. But the difference is he's a goal scorer who can actually score goals on that Firmino. So can you imagine that? Kai, that's what I love Firmino. I think he's a top player. He's more of like because he was always like an attacking mids than a striker. So he was moved to play like higher up as an attacking mid. So for me, his goals aren't important in the first place. But I'm saying Kai is like the 2-1 that can do that and can score as well. And I'm just thinking, can you imagine Kai false nine with Werner, like a Pulisic or a Hudson or whoever down the right hand side too, or Ziyech as well. Yeah, and it's kind of reminiscent a bit of Liverpool because I think we are like a bit similar to them. So like, I
completely agree, and just to add on to that, with Werner, that is kind of moving the Liverpool model, putting a left winger that really is his main goal, is to be a Mohamed Salah type player and getting behind and score. We don't have the same thing on the right, like Liverpool would have Mane and Salah going in behind. We don't really have that on the right yet.
We've got a young Pulisic and Hudson-Odoi who I think will only get better.
Yeah. Exactly. So they're getting there with that development, and then on Havertz, that's a great point, and that's really what sold me on him, because I knew he could play behind the striker, I knew he could play right, but those are areas where we are quite packed in, and maybe it's not a necessity that we sign a player for that. But when I seen that he can play up front, which is really only, I'm not going to lie, just as the Bundesliga returned, he did start to play up front. I'm not sure if he was playing too much up front before that, but he looked really comfortable up front, as a false nine. I could easily see him doing the target man role as well. He's got the physicality for that, and I was really impressed. And like we spoke off air, I think his heading ability is huge. That is something that this team needs desperately. You look at us from set pieces. For starters, we are not a threat from set pieces anymore. We don't have Terry Cahill. I said this in my video on Twitter. We don't have the bullish, doggish defenders who really they're not just going up for the banner. They're actually going up to score. We used to have defenders that would actually say, listen, the corner's here, it's our time now, we're really scoring. Like Terry and Ivanovic and Cahill, they didn't go up to play, they really went up there to score goals, and we don't have that right now. Our defenders, even Zuma, Rudiger, they've got a lot of physicality about them. I'm not expecting Christensen to do it, but they go up there, they're all right. If they get their head on it, that's kind of mission accomplished. They're not really trying to score like that. And I think Havertz in the box with Reece James's crosses, Hudson-Odoi again crossing ability, Ziyech with the vision, and Hudson and Loftus-Cheek as well if he's starting, to have that in the box before the cross even comes in, that's already game set match for me. So the fact that he can play up front is huge. And also just to finalize, is Tammy. Tammy was overused this season. He really started to pick up injuries. Someone who can come in. Need it badly.
That's what I mean. Let's even add to that point, man. He was overused because he had to, and he did a shift for the team. For me, the only sad thing was that just wasn't appreciated. My guy was basically putting his body on the line to play fight for the team, and he was. We've had players here who, with a bit of injuries, Morata, for example, did not want to do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He didn't want to play with Tammy playing a young guy. First time playing this level with a busted ankle and still running defenders
with
ragged
number
too.
9 shirt on his back
That's
as well.
That's what I mean. That pressure too. Like I feel like the fan base has to just do a bit better by Tammy's side, but that's just a different thing. Yeah, pay homage 100%. He earns it. But just speaking about Kai, I just think what's really exciting is that if he signs, and I think he will be used as a false nine at times this season. This implies that Lampard wants to have a completely different way to break down teams. And I'm thinking if you're playing against a low block team, with Kai is dropping deeper, being that guy playing passes between the lines and that, and you've got Werner and Co making the runs from out wide, maybe even Tammy, because back in the U team days, Tammy was playing on the right. You know what I mean?
To make way for Solanke.
That's what I'm saying. So I'm just saying we could have an even different Arsenal to just break teams down. Basically, we can do that. So,
and also, the Kai signing. As well is just to say, not obviously he gives Mount and Tammy, 2 players that were overused this season who picked up little injuries because they had to play too much. He gives them both a competition and arguably puts one of them out of the team immediately. So really they're not going to be getting those overplayed game time. But also if he's on the pitch and he's not playing up front, and we do have Tammy in game, that gives us the flexibility to go 2 up front immediately. That's
what I mean.
Without even making substitutions.
That's what I mean.
Without even making substitutions.
And that's what Lampard wants. I think I've been saying this on my channel for a long time. Obviously, from seeing the youth, our academy, how they play, how to be so many different lineups and selections and different formations too. It got me thinking, why is this being done at such a young level? And it's just of course, it's an academy, it's a finishing school. You're preparing your players, you're producing for the modern day, for a reality that's going to come. And I think that we'll be one of the clubs that leads that new way in which teams are used and teams are seen. But basically doing that with the young players we have already and the young guys we're targeting. So I really feel like, special things can happen next season, 100%. I guess just to wrap up this video, man, of course, who do you think could be the winners and losers when it comes to a Werner and Kai signing?
I mean, straight off the bat, the loser is obviously going to be your fringe players immediately. Before we get into the tough decisions, but the likes of Batshuayi out the door, of course. Barkley, even though he's got a little bit of form back in him before the lockdown, I think he's definitely on the way out if Havertz comes in. I think one of, and I'm not sure which one, I really can't decide because it really just depends on, one, if they stay away from the injuries that we spoke about, but 2, if they actually deliver and reach the potential, which I really hope they do. But one of Pulisic or Hudson-Odoi will be fearing for their place long term for sure, because these players that we're signing, not only are they the same age bracket or just a bit older, so they're not really gonna go anywhere anytime soon, and they're really here for the long haul. Not only that, but they have the versatility. He's signing multifaceted players. You look at Werner, he can play left wing and striker. If we're playing counter-attack, Werner could go up front and take advantage of any high line. You look at Havertz, 4 positions we spoke about. Ziyech, I know he's not as young, but again, he plays 3 positions as well.
How many?
These attackers we're playing and signing, they are going to be able to cover all of your faults. If you're slacking, they can take your position no matter where you are. So it's really going to be very interesting. And Loftus-Cheek, I'm just touching wood that he can stay fit for a season, because if he can't, and that really is my ultimate scare, I really do feel like we may have to cut our losses with him, because I think someone like Tino, who's coming through the ranks, I think in a couple of years after some loans, he could be ready to kind of take that Loftus-Cheek role and do a similar job. I don't know if he's going to be as good, because for me Loftus-Cheek is one of a kind, but do something very similar. And if Loftus-Cheek can't play most of the time, then it probably makes sense to cut our losses there and switch in Tino. So that's another one, but I don't want to speak about that.
Because to keep it real, I was thinking, I think I have a signing could affect Tino, because Tino I thought was going to be that guy playing shadow striker role, which he kind of does already. So I guess that might imply that he'd have to get a loan. But you know what? I still have this theory that depending on how the season ends, if like certain players do bits and literally like, make a name for themselves, take responsibility, produce big things before the season ends, then I do feel I would not be surprised if Lampard makes a decision to not even sign a player. And I'll tell you why. I'll tell you this. Obviously, Sumari, that guy from Lille, Lampard's a big fan. Lampard rates him. He'd like to bring him here. Spoke to Lille in January about trying to make something happen. Couldn't happen at the time. Obviously, Lille have all their issues too with that campus. Is he going to stay? Is he going to go? They're not even in a position to even think about selling guys just yet. And obviously, a player that stopped that from happening was Billy Gilmour. Now that he played the masterclasses against, just owning Merseysides, like in his first proper games, really. You know what I mean? Already got Merseyside just running that part already. Like, wee little guy like that, just like absolute mad performance. And it's just like when Lampard saw, darn it, like this guy can, ball at this level, then it kind of stopped that interest in Sumari. So I'm just curious about how that could affect other players in the team, basically. I wonder if other players could save themselves. Who knows?
Yeah, I completely agree, and I think this is perfect, to be honest, to even have these high quality players linked with us and them going around. The players on social media, they're definitely aware of the players that we're rumored to be targeting, and they're coming from legit sources like your Fabrizios and your Matt Laws. And the thing is that now they have to come back and start playing proper football and really play to their best, because we have players clearly being linked to us that can replace them if they're not on form. So that game against Villa, they better turn up, because Havertz and Werner are waiting, apparently.
That's what it's looking like. I think Werner's our player. That's it. The only reason he's not going to be our player is if, God forbid, touch wood right now. Do you have wood beside you? Do you have like?
I don't. I actually don't.
Then I'm not going to say what I was going to say. Then I'm not going to say what I'm going to say, because I'm not trying to jinx nothing for Timo Werner. I need to see TNT next season, you guys. But anyway, TNT, man,
whole world
it's
is
gonna
cancelled.
explode in the Premier League. TNT. It's just gonna be an absolute mazza, to be honest. But hey, real talk, man. It's been fun. Obviously talking. You guys can see on the screen Matthias Armani Twitter page. Give him a follow, you guys. What are you doing? Obviously, Matthias, man, if you want to give us like a little brief, glimpse into like how it was working. Obviously, in that Premier League shoot. Obviously, making some movements.
Yeah. I've been on 3 times now, and to be honest, every time I go on is a blessing, because I know Olivia well, but she does the presenting for that show, and I've always wanted to be on something like that. Obviously, I did radio before, but to be on TV in countries that I've never even been to, and especially with this hairline, it's good that I'm not in countries that you guys can view. If you're from the UK, you can't watch it, so that's peak for you. you can't mock me. But on a real, it's an honor. It's great. It's not the real studio yet, because lockdown, and we're just doing it over Zoom. It's good to have the debates. And
Disclaimer.
I'm not against the Man United fan. It's light work.
That's good to hear, man. Happy to hear. And obviously, you guys, on that note, I'm gonna wrap things up, keep things moving. Thank you for watching. How are you feeling about Havertz and Werner? Let me know in the comment section below. And at that point, I'm gonna wrap things up. I'm Nini FC. This is Blue Lions TV. See you guys later with another video.